going on?
What do we got here?
Well, I was cleaning out my grandma's garage. She passed away a couple years back. And, you know, I found this thing in the corner.
What was Grandma up to?
I don't know. That's a very good question. Coming to the pawn shop today to try to sell my gun. What I really like about this gun is the thing is huge. And, you know, it's like a prehistoric rocket launcher. You know, this is the last of her stuff, and I'm hoping it's worth some money.
I think this is a Musketoon. This thing's real similar to a modern-day shotgun. It doesn't fire one projectile. It shoots a lot of little teeny projectiles. You'd shoot it right into a crowd of somebody, and then turn it around and use it as a club.
Nice.
The problem was with the way they made brass back then, they didn't know how brass was made, really. All they knew is if you took copper and you took these certain rocks that contained zinc, but they didn't even know what zinc was yet, and you threw them in the melted copper, you'd come out with brass. And what that meant is they never knew the exact strength of the brass. If it was really weak brass, the barrel could explode. Since the brass was inconsistent, they would bring it to the Tower of London, they would put 4 times the powder charge in it, put some projectiles on it, and fire it. If it blew up, obviously, they weren't going to give it to a soldier. If it handled it, they would put the proof marks in it and hand it off to the soldier. So what do you want to do with it?
I'd like to sell it.
I got a few concerns with it.
Okay.
Okay. I've never seen a whole lock mechanism like this. Much more complicated than what they normally had. And you got different kinds of screws on this thing. It looks like a lot of stuff's been replaced with it. There's a lot of things that don't add up, but if it's real, it could be worth a lot of money. I have a friend, he's an expert in antique arms and armor. He can come in here, he can tell us if everything's real, or if this stuff's been replaced, or the whole deal with it. Yeah, and he can tell us what it's worth. Maybe we can make a deal.
Great.
All right?
Thanks. You know, I'm not really nervous about the expert. I'm looking at this gun, I've done my research, and this thing really looks authentic. And, you know, I think they'll think the same thing.
So what are your concerns, Rick?
First off, is it real? And if it is, it looks like it has a lot of stuff replaced right here. I mean, every screw seems different. The lock on it, I've never seen a lock like that.
Whenever I examine an antique firearm, there's kind of a laundry list of things that I go through. How original is it? Has there been any restoration, replacement parts? Has it been cleaned and cleaned in the wrong way? You know, these are all little things that add up to what could be potentially a make or break situation when you're buying something. I can tell you the history right now about this.
Okay.
There's 2 different time periods that we're dealing with here. The barrel and the lock are from a Musketoon that dates from around the 1680s, 1690s. The lock is signed R. Allen. That is a well-known English manufacturer of the period.
Okay.
And as you know, they didn't waste anything back then. They recycled the lock and the barrel probably around 1740, from what I can tell from the style and the features of the rest of the gun, and again, put it back out in service.
So, like, at one point, like, the stock was broken or something like that, and they refurbished it?
Absolutely. These were the primary weapons for ship-to-ship, you know, fighting. Crowd control, I mean, they would shoot just about anything. These type of things just do not surface anymore. You know, I've read about them in museum collections and books, but to actually see one in the flesh, they're very, very rare, and I'm thrilled to see this. This lock, you would think, because of these open holes, is missing screws. When they restocked it, they didn't need 3. They only went to 2.
Okay.
So these are just vacant screw holes.
Okay.
So there's nothing missing. These are, from what I can tell, the original parts. There's nothing replaced here.
So what's it worth?
You have no idea what you have here. You know, you don't find this every day. I mean, it's 100% real. And it's worth quite a bit of money. Rick, most museums don't even have a Musketoon like this. I mean, these are very, very rare. And you really have a prize here. This is fantastic.
Nice.
A conservative auction estimate, a major auction house, probably between 10 and 15,000. What somebody's willing to pay outside of an auction, that's going to be a different number.
Thanks for coming in, man.
Absolutely. Pleasure.
Yeah.
Now I know two things. One, the musket's real. Two, I really, really want it. Now the only question is, can I get it for the right price? So what do you want for it?
And just say 10.
Okay, without a doubt, I really want this thing. $4 grand.
I do want cash today.
Okay.
$4 grand's a little too low. I'm at 10, you're at 4. We're about 6,000 apart. When we split the difference, call it 7.
Call it 4,500. I'm a little worried about overpaying for this gun, but it's so rare, I just gotta have it.
I can't do it, man. Just can't.
I'll give you $5 grand for it.
6,000 final offer. Take it or leave it. I understand if you can't do it.
All right, deal. All right, let's go do the paperwork. I'm happy I got the gun. It's a Musketoon, but I'm really afraid I paid too much for it. I mean, what if this thing doesn't fire? If this gun fires, it's gonna be worth a whole lot more than if it doesn't fire.
Awesome.
So who would actually shoot this thing?
This was British military, primarily the Royal Navy. And these were designed for clearing the decks, and they would be loaded with rocks, nails, glass, you name it. They'd even shoot them from the tops in the rigging, down on the opposing ship. So if you can imagine two opposing ships coming together, the grappling hooks are flying back and forth, they're swinging on lines just like you'd see in the movie, and then guys would be positioned strategically either in the tops or on the deck and firing at the big crowds of guys. And I mean close combat. We're not talking 50 yards away, we're talking 30 feet. And at that distance, you're gonna have a spread of about 5 to 10 feet, depending on what projectile you put in there. Because, I mean, if you have a bunch of nails coming at you, it's gonna stop you in your tracks. This was nasty, nasty warfare.
We need this at the pawn shop.
Yeah.
Moron. So how do you load this thing?
We're gonna put the priming powder in, okay, after we load the main charge. This piece of flint is gonna strike the frizzen. It's gonna create a spark when this moves forward, igniting the priming powder, sending a jet of fire into the touch hole, igniting the main charge. We're gonna put 120 grains of black powder in here. We're gonna put our wad. We're gonna seat it well. That creates the breech pressure, the projectile. Seat it well. Okay, guys, we're ready.
Lots of people find shooting guns soothing, but not too many people get to do it with a 1750 Musketoon.
3, 2, 1.
In one shot, all my stress went away. It felt so good.
How's that for stress relief?
Oh, it beats the hell out of stress balls, I'll tell you that. I'm so happy I bought this gun. I was so glad to be able to shoot it. I think I'm gonna rename it from the Musketoon to the Stress Reliever.
Hey, son.
Hey, how's it going?
All right, how about you?
All right.
I got something here I want you to look at.
What do we got here?
It's an old sundial.
Okay. Hey, Pops,
What?
come here.
Hang on a minute.
Pops, come here.
What do you want?
Do you know how this thing works?
No, Rick, I ain't that old, and I got to work for it.
I came to the pawn shop today to pawn my sundial. I really don't want to sell the thing off. It's kind of got a little sentimental value. I don't really know what it's worth. I just want a little extra money while I'm in Vegas.
So how did you get this?
My father picked it up over in Germany once, back in World War II. He picked it up out of a house or something.
Okay, so I take it you didn't buy it. I guess it was a war prize.
It was a war prize, I think.
During World War II, they let you do that.
Yeah, you get all you want.
Yeah, I mean, all you had to do is fill out this little spoil of war form.
Spoils of war are basically when U.S. servicemen commandeered things during World War I and World War II. And it could have been anything. All you had to do was fill out some paperwork, put a stamp on it, and send it home.
It's a neat little thing. It's pretty accurate.
Do you know how to use it?
You hold it up and hold it north, let the thing go north, and this little string that's on it, it carries you what time it is across it on there.
Okay, so you'd hold it
Yeah.
like north, you line it that line right
Line it
there?
up there, and then whatever the sun is in your back there, it brings to the dial around it there.
Oh, that's neat.
People have been using the sun to tell time for ages, and I've seen a ton of sundials, but I have never seen one this intricate.
Well, it's Ivory.
That's a good thing, ain't it?
Uh-huh, yeah, it's
Okay.
definitely a good thing. And this is either French or Latin. And it says 1662. Whether that's just a number or a date, I don't know.
I didn't know if that was that old or not.
If it's that old, I mean, it's in wonderful condition. Do we know what this does right here? There's something there. I have no idea what that does, but there's something right there. Whoa.
I don't know if it's something to reset the dials or what in it.
I don't know what that is. I'm going to put it back in there, though.
I've never seen anything like this, and I'm just dying to find out more.
Did you want to pawn it or sell it, or?
I want to just pawn it and everything. You know, it is something my father gave me and stuff, and I don't want to sell it right now.
Okay. How much did you want to borrow?
I need $500-600.
Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. I'd really like someone to look at it first. This thing could be worth a lot of money. Well, let me call a buddy in here and let him take a look at it.
Okay.
We'll figure out what it's worth, and if everything's good, I'll loan you the money.
Okay.
Okay?
I appreciate it.
This guy has no idea what he has here, and I really don't have any idea what he's got. But all I know is it's probably worth a lot more than $600.
I figured that was your department.
I deal in antiques and scientific instruments. One of the coolest things about scientific instruments is their age, the technology behind them, where they've been, who owned them, and just the whole mystique behind that.
This is what's known as a Nuremberg dial. So what are your concerns with this item?
My gut feeling is it's real. I mean, I don't know if it's 1662, and to tell you the truth, I have no idea what it's worth.
Well, sundials date back before Christ, and what you've got here is really an old-fashioned digital watch because it had so many functions combined into one instrument. There are 3 different dials in this particular sundial. You've got a vertical pin dial, a string gnomon dial that's vertical, and another horizontal dial.
What in the world is a gnomon dial?
This is called the string gnomon. When this is orientated towards true north, the sun will be over my shoulder, and the sun's shadow will be cast by the string on the time of day on this circular dial underneath, indicating the time of day. For direction, on the top here, you have what's called a compass rose. If you look down through that hole and you point north, you'll see the tip of the compass needle. It's magnetic. On the bottom here, you have what's known as a lunar volvelle. It has both the Gregorian and Julian calendars, but the cool thing about this is at night, when you had a full moon, you could actually tell what time it was.
How in the world did you do that?
It depends upon the orientation of the moon and the phase of the moon. And these little computations down here, if you line up the various numbers with what your observation is, it'll tell you within 15 minutes what the time of evening is.
That's amazing.
I had no idea this thing had so many functions. It's like the Swiss Army knife of sundials. I mean, they thought of everything. I am blown away by the technology and craftsmanship in this.
This is obviously a very detailed, delicate instrument. It would have been owned by nobility or someone who was very wealthy. It's made in Germany. It's signed Albrecht Karner. Karner happened to be one of a family of dial makers that was very well known in Germany at the time. This is the most incredible, pristine example that I've ever seen. There is absolutely no doubt that it's authentic. Here's a little secret down here. Have you ever had this open?
He opened it a while ago and something fell out of it.
Yeah.
Hope he didn't break it.
We put it back.
This is really an amazing aspect of this particular instrument. And I have never seen one that had the original still with it. If you put this little guy here in the top, what it becomes, this is a weather vane. And I have never seen one that had the original wind vane still with it. Buddy, you're in Vegas and you just hit the jackpot.
I needed to.
What do you think it's worth? What do you think it'll go for?
An average dial like this might sell from between $3,000 and $5,000, but one in this exceptional condition, they just do not come any better than this. There are examples in museum that don't hold a candle to this. This one, I would say, easily could fetch $7,000.
Thanks for coming by, Rod. I really appreciate it.
Nice meeting you.
I do, thank you. I'm pretty shocked right now. That thing was worth a fortune there. I've been holding on to it for so long, I didn't know it was that valuable.
So do you still want to pawn it, or do you want to sell it to me?
I'm considering selling it to you if you'll come up good on me.
So what do you think's a fair price?
Well, you just heard him, probably $665.
I can't do that. I'll give you $3,000.
No, I can't take that. You heard what he said. That's a museum piece there.
Yeah, but a museum ain't gonna give you no money for it. I'll give you $4 grand. I mean, it scares me. I mean, I don't know how long I'm gonna sit on this thing. That's a lot of money.
I'll take 45.
I'll go 42. That is like it.
Let's do this then. We're in Vegas. Let's flip a coin. 42 if you get it, 45 if I get it. You call the coin.
All right, go ahead. What the hell? Tails.
Head it is. Thank you, sir.
All right, let's go do some paperwork.
My intentions was to pawn it, but that was $4,500. My dad would think I was a nut just to keep that right there. Take the money and go with it.
What do we have here?
Well, I have my grandfather's old army coat from the Philippine-American War.
Well, there was no Philippine War.
American-Philippine War?
No.
There's the Spanish-American War where we took the Philippines from Spain.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I'm coming down to the pawn shop today to try to sell my grandfather's army coat. I've inherited it through the family and have had it hanging in a closet for years. Not quite sure what era it was from. All it was ever mentioned was the Philippines. I don't have an exact price. I'm just hoping to get some money for it, a large amount of money.
So you think it's from the Spanish-American War?
When was the Spanish-American War?
1890s. We were much more powerful than Spain. It only lasted 10 weeks. The United States ended up acquiring Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Philippines. Do you know anything else about it?
Yeah, I've had it since my grandfather passed away.
How old was your grandfather?
He was 101 in 1986.
That would have made him awfully young for the Spanish-American War. And I doubt if he would be a sergeant at the time. He would have been like 12, 13 years old.
You lying to me, dude?
No, I'm not lying to you, man.
Okay, it happens all the time. Like facts get confused with the family.
Absolutely.
The Spanish-American War started and ended in 1898. So this guy's either got his story confused or his grandfather fought in a war when he was age 13. I'm in a quandary here myself. It could be World War I. It's got a really weird color.
These must represent artillery shells, don't they?
Yes, they do. Sometimes these can be worth money right here. The 92, I'm assuming, is the unit, but there's nothing in this thing to date it. You know, I'm just not familiar with these things as I should be. There's a huge market for old military items, but you have to know what you're getting into. Even though this jacket is interesting, I gotta know what war it's from. Only then will I have a clue on what it's worth. So why'd you want to sell it?
I can't take care of it like it should be taken care of. If it's a museum piece, it deserves to be in a museum.
Okay, I understand. Do you mind if I bring someone in to look at it so he can tell me what it is?
No,
okay,
I'm with you on that one.
We'll know which war it's from, we'll know everything about it, and then we can figure out a price.
Great.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Thanks,
Thank
man.
you. When the guys told me an expert was going to come in, I felt quite happy about that because I'm sure that he will have more information than I've been able to find.
Rick, good
Mark?
to see you. What do you got?
I don't know exactly what I have. Think it's from the Spanish-American War.
I'm Mark. I'm the administrator of the Clark County Museum System. When I'm looking at the coat, I'm looking for the type of coat it is, what kind of insignia is on it, if the insignia is correct to the coat, in order to kind of narrow down what it is that you're looking at. What you have is a model 1902 dress uniform coat. It's U.S. Army. This particular one is artillery because you've got the red on it, that's artillery. The interesting thing on it is these two stripes here. The red one is time in service stripe. The white stripe means he was in war. He was in battle. The 92nd Coast Artillery was in the Philippines. When was your grandfather born?
1885.
So, well, it's not the Spanish-American War, that's my 1898. Could have been the Philippine Insurrection. The Philippine Insurrection was a war that we fought against insurrection forces after we took over the Philippines at the end of the Spanish-American War. It's missing the U.S. insignia that should be right here. You'd also have a belt. Otherwise, though, it's fairly complete.
Is it rare?
Coast Artillery at that time was a very large part of the Army, but still unusual. You don't see many from 1902.
It's neat that it's pre-World War I, then.
Mm-hmm. All right. Absolutely.
Okay.
So,
you're the best, man.
Thanks a lot. This is a wonderful piece. It's in very nice shape. I suspect that collectors will be quite interested.
So how much do you want for it?
You tell me what you'd be willing to offer right now.
$200.
You can come up more than that, can't you?
Not really. I mean, it's pre-World War I. It's got the interesting insignias, but you are missing insignias. You're missing the belt. I'm assuming I can get like $300 for this thing. I mean, you can get 300. All you got to do is open up your own shop, get business license, all that other stuff, and then you can price it for 300 in your store.
You shop it, buddy.
All right, you want to go write them up, Corey?
Let's go do some paperwork, buddy.
I decided to settle on 200. I know they're going to find a collector that's going to preserve it, put the metals on it, and make it perfect.
Hi, guys.
Hey, it's you again.
What do we got?
I have a John Wilkes Booth wanted poster after the assassination of Abraham Lincoln at Ford's Theater.
This is a really, really important part of American history.
I came to the pawn shop today to sell my John Wilkes Booth wanted poster. A pristine poster of this type is worth around $100,000. My poster is not quite pristine, so I'm hoping to get maybe a third of that, and I want to use the money to buy more documents.
So where did you get this?
Well, I bought this from a collector in Illinois. There's only about 30 or 40 of these in existence.
There wasn't a lot of posters put out because by the time they started printing posters, he was already caught.
Yeah, this was printed April 20th, and he was killed on April 26th.
The manhunt for John Wilkes Booth is one of the most intense chapters in American history. And original wanted posters are extremely rare and worth a ton of money. Lincoln, he had like a Union troop with him, right?
He had a private policeman, and he went down to take a better seat in the theater to see the play.
Okay, yeah. Lax security, and he just walked right up to the booth and shot him, right? Walked right in it.
Yeah, I know John Wilkes Booth. He was one of the most famous actors in America, and he was even rated like the handsomest man in America or something like that.
Yeah, and the most photographed man at one time.
Everyone knows the story from history class. John Wilkes Booth shot Abraham Lincoln at Ford's Theater, then jumped down to the stage and escaped. It was just a massive shock to the country.
Booth was hoping to totally destroy the U.S. government. He also planned to have the Secretary of State and the Vice President assassinated. He thought that he was going to be a hero if he made it to Virginia.
Let the stain of innocent blood be removed from the land by the arrest and punishment of the murderers. They weren't suspected.
Yes, and this was the largest manhunt in American history.
Wouldn't surprise me. Lincoln's arguably the greatest president we've ever had. He was the first president ever to be assassinated. If Lincoln stayed alive, things would have been a lot different. We wouldn't have had Andrew Johnson, one of the worst presidents in American history.
Very true.
So as far as the poster goes, they're really rare. They're worth a lot of money. This one's in pretty rough shape. An original John Wilkes Booth wanted poster would be extremely valuable in any condition. But when it comes to putting a price on something like this, condition always matters. And how much do you want for it?
Pristine broadsides go for about $100,000. This obviously isn't pristine. If you could give me 1/3 of that, I'd be happy, you know? When I pulled it out, I noticed the check was a perfect match. To be sitting on there so long, it just proves to me that it has the age to be original.
It does look old, but my big problem is I don't know if it's legit. You know, I'm not gonna put out money until I know. This is amazing. Head and shoulders above anything ever to come in my shop. But I have to be cautious. There is a ton of fakes out there. It's not like fakes have been around for 10 years. Fakes have always been around. So how do I know that some guy in the 1800s didn't fake this? I'm gonna go give my buddy a call. This guy knows everything there is to know about things like this. Let me get him down here. We'll get this thing figured out.
Okay.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Thanks, man.
If this is real, this is amazing. It should be in a museum, but it's not. It's in my shop, and I'm gonna do everything I can to get it. Hey, Dana.
Good to see you. Wow. I'm president of Early American History Auctions. I'm an expert in Civil War, photographs, documents, and all the like. Well, that's an important item. I happen to have a very good client who owns an original, and I brought it with me so we could do a comparison side by side.
So you have one that's proven to be real?
It is absolutely genuine.
Okay, let's see it. Holy cow.
This is the real deal. These are absolutely some of the most iconic documents in American history. Different printers had different styles. This particular type, there's only 4 known to exist. At that time, the $100,000 reward was the highest amount ever issued in the history of America.
So what's this one worth?
About a decade ago, one brought approximately $80,000, and that was not in as good condition. This is one of the best of all the existing examples. John Wilkes Booth was actually a fanatic. who thought that he had been given a mission from God to assassinate Abraham Lincoln because the slaves that had been emancipated were now going to be given the vote as well. So, Rick, what are your concerns about this document?
I just want to make sure it's the real deal. I know there was tons of them that were faked.
Well, it looks kind of odd because of the color and the way it's wrinkled and all, but it could be just very aged, so it needs a little bit closer examination. This is very interesting. The paper is a very old, early paper.
Okay.
You know, it's not something that was made the other day. Most of them were right about this size because they wanted it to be very, very visible. This would be kind of difficult to read. Obviously, the print here is substantially larger than the small print here. I have an idea of exactly what we have here. I think we have an early reproduction. It's not a modern piece at all. Could have been for the 50th anniversary of the murder of Abraham Lincoln.
So what do you think it's worth?
It's probably worth under $100.
Okay.
As it turned out, it just happened to be an authentic souvenir reproduction that was made a long time ago.
It's kind of depressing. I was hoping to have a little cash on this.
Well, thanks for bringing it in.
Thank you, guys. Thanks a lot, man. Thanks.
I'm really bummed that the poster turned out to be a fake. But with failure comes opportunity. And now that I got a real one in my sights, I'm just hoping we can make a deal.
Sorry that didn't work out for you, but we'll see you later.
Well, why don't you hang out for a little bit? So, what do you want for this thing?
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. I can't begin to tell you how much I want this thing. It would look great on my wall. This is exactly the type of item that gets people talking about the store and heads in the door.
Well, I thought we were just comparing it.
Okay, I'm just wondering, you know, how much you want for it?
I believe that my client would allow me to let it go for $180,000.
You think he would take 100 grand for it?
I think it's worth more. I would advise him not to take that.
Okay, maybe 120?
That won't work right here, right now.
So what will work right now?
I'll tell you what, $160,000. Write a check. We're done.
Okay, 125. Call up your buddy, see if he'll take it.
I can't do that for you. I know you need to make a profit. This would look incredible in your store. However, 150 is it.
I'll see you next time you're in the store.
That's fine.
Okay.
When Rick offered to buy my client's authentic broadside, I was just blown away. I had no idea he was going to do that, and it was really fantastic that he had the interest, but we just couldn't get there.
You can't blame me for trying, right?
Not at all. Not for a moment.
Okay, have a good one.
Take care.
I can't win today. The first one turned out to be fake, and the real one, I can't make a deal on. But it was really awesome to be able to see it in person. Like most people, I've only seen pictures of it in books.
So I'm here in Boston because my buddy Steve Gradge told me about this amazing Red Sox collection. And he tipped me off that the seller might actually be willing to sell a few pieces.
Hey, Rick.
Hey, how's it going?
All right, Pat, welcome. Thanks for coming out here.
Oh, thanks.
We've got some amazing items here that I want to show you.
Okay.
This is the most extraordinary and unique collection of Red Sox team-signed baseballs that you're going to find anywhere on the planet. It starts from 1901, which would be this ball right here, and all the 5 World Series they won with Babe Ruth. And this one is the first and earliest Babe Ruth signature that we know of that's out there on a baseball.
That's incredible. And we have the world's largest baseball card.
The world's largest baseball card. Don't put it in the spokes of your bike because this one signed by Cy Young.
Okay, pretty damn cool.
I'm representing the owners of the biggest team baseball collection in Red Sox history. Today, we're going to be able to offer the Cy Young cabinet card. The owners are looking to get $175,000. The other item we have is Ted Williams' 477th home run baseball. They're looking to get $50,000 for that.
I mean, this is really neat.
These two pieces the owners are willing to part with. This baseball is Ted Williams' 477th home run. Why don't you put that glove on right there?
Yeah, I mean, he's Mr. Baseball in Boston. Oh, he wrote all over it. That's really cool.
All over it.
Home run number 477, June 24th, 1958. Yeah, I think Ted Williams was basically considered a god in this town.
Oh, still is. He was the Red Sox Mickey Mantle. And we're talking about a World War II veteran here. He missed 5 years of his career to go to the military and serve our country, and still hit 521 home runs. This is an excellent piece. What this is a cabinet card from 1893, signed by Cy Young. As far as we know, there's only 6 of these out there in the world. The best part about it is if you look over here, this actually comes in the envelope that he sent it with his handwriting.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. Yeah, it's Cy Young, who's arguably the greatest baseball player ever to live.
Yeah.
He's a pitcher that won over 500 games.
511.
It would be mathematically impossible for any pitcher to do that nowadays because they don't play that many games. So, super cool collection. So, gloves off, what is the price of the Ted Williams ball?
Our team will accept $50,000 for that ball.
Okay. And the world's largest baseball card?
We're asking $175,000 for that.
Okay. It's a little bit pricey. So I'm going to go give Steve a call.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want a little input here. Give me a few minutes. I'll be right back. I'm going to go give him a call.
Okay, great.
All right. So I guess you already know about this stuff.
Yeah, it's some really great stuff. This is some of the best stuff I've ever seen outside of the Baseball Hall of Fame.
So I really love number 477, Ted Williams. I think it's really, really cool.
He's certainly still the most famous Red Sox player almost of all time. So I see we have the letter as well. This is from Steve Runnels. Pete Runnels was a pretty good ball player in his own right and a former teammate of Ted's. So it says, my father, Pete Runnels, and Ted Williams were teammates. On June 29th, 1958, Ted Williams hit his 477th career home run. The ball was hit atop the roof in right field. That's a great story. My father acquired the baseball, and he wrote the score and information about the home run on the ball, and then had Ted Williams autograph the ball. Now, I'm, semi-familiar with this. You're not really going to see much on here. It's just mostly a faded signature. But, the thing you want is that and that, which is absolutely phenomenal.
And then we have this Cy Young baseball card.
This is a really fantastic piece of history. Cy Young, obviously, really the greatest pitcher of all time. 2 years after he died, they named the Cy Young Award after him. But the great thing about this, and I know the history about this piece, is this letter is tied in directly to this. So this is Cy Young sending this to someone. And I don't know if you could ask for better provenance.
So, what do you think they're worth?
You have two great pieces here, Rick. These are museum quality. So the first one, obviously Cy Young, just focusing on this, how incredibly rare it is. I could easily see this going for $200,000.
Okay, and the ball?
So the baseball is really interesting, and I love the letter. It ties it all in together. I'd put that value right at $65,000.
Okay. You want to have dinner later?
If you're buying.
Well, if I buy anything, I'm going to be broke, so you'll have to buy.
No problem. Good luck.
Okay, all right, so the ball and the Cy Young, I will give you $175,000.
For all of it?
For these two, right? Yeah.
I'm sorry, I absolutely cannot do that. Our price is $225 right now.
And your best price is?
My best offer? I'll give it all to you for $220.
My best offer is literally going to be $180.
I'm sorry, just can't do it that low.
Okay, well, if you change your mind, let me know.
Okay, but thanks a lot. I was disappointed that we couldn't come to an agreement on price, but we're gonna hold on to them. We know there's other interested buyers out there, and we know we'll get our price eventually.
Hey, how can I help you guys?
Hey, how are you?
So what do we got here?
This is a book from the 1936 Olympics. And the other thing we have, this is a medallion given to the German soldiers who volunteered at the Olympics.
A lot of people thought this was going to be the last Olympics there ever was because the world had changed so much.
We decided to come to the pawn shop today to try to sell a 1936 Olympics picture book and the medallion. I'm not really clear in terms of how much these items are worth. I was hoping to get somewhere in the neighborhood of $100 each for these items.
Where did you get these things?
My nephew was born in Germany, and he did a little collecting, and one summer he came back with these two items.
It was a big deal in Germany, but at that point in history, the Olympics weren't that big of a deal. This was sort of like the first gigantic one. Hitler wanted to show off everything he was building and everything else.
You know, at the time, he only wanted Aryan people on his team.
Jesse Owens ran away with that. He was the hero of the 1936 Olympics.
The 1936 Summer Olympics were held in Berlin, Germany, which was under Nazi rule. Hitler wanted to use the games to prove the superiority of the Aryan race. Too bad for him, we had Jesse Owens, an African-American who won 4 gold medals. The Fuhrer wasn't happy. So did you guys want to sell these things?
Yeah, we wanted to sell them, yeah.
Did you have any idea what you wanted for them?
Thinking in the area of like $100 for the book and maybe $100 for the medallion.
It's in good shape.
Yeah, it is in really good shape, actually. Most books like this end up eventually getting water damage. I mean, I'd like to make you an offer on it or something like that, but these are real common books, believe it or not. I don't know why they are, but I've seen them before, and I know they don't go for a lot of money. The same with the metal. There was like 50,000 of these made. It was something that was mass-produced.
Don't you think this is really a neat piece of history?
It's neat, but it's a really limited market for this thing. A lot of people aren't going to buy it just because of that symbol right there. And I, quite frankly, I can't blame them.
I can't blame them.
I mean, things like this should be kept around because people who don't study history are bound to repeat it. You know, they're not really great things I like having in my store. It does offend some people, and
So you're not interested?
I'm just not interested in buying it. I'm sorry. Thanks for bringing it in, guys.
Yeah,
Thank
sure.
you. I'm disappointed that we couldn't make a deal.
We'll try to donate them to some museum.
What do you got here?
I have a World War II baby gas mask.
Hey, Rick, come here.
What in the world do we have here?
I have a baby gas mask.
Must be a really stinky poo.
I decided to come to the pawn shop today to try to sell my baby gas mask from World War II. The gas mask is from 1939. It's in very good condition, and it has the original box and the paperwork along with the gas mask. I spoke to a museum that said it might be worth up to $5,000, so I was thinking maybe I'll cut them a break and sell it to them for $4,000. This one was given out in England. My uncle was born just before D-Day, so they were worried that there was going to be some type of chemical attack. So they gave it to my grandmother for my uncle.
Okay. Yeah, it must have been extremely scary living at a time when you needed one of these things in your house.
The pamphlet here says that if you leave your house, you will be killed.
Okay.
I've seen plenty of gas masks before, but I've never seen one made for a baby. I know they handed out gas masks all over England during World War II, but I just can't imagine being a parent and having to put my child in this thing.
It's just really bizarre. I mean, I just can't imagine taking a baby and throwing it in this thing and...
Well, it's not as bad as it sounds. You actually put the baby up inside, and you cinch it closed with this, and then you can pump the filter.
I mean, quite frankly, this is the only one I've ever seen, and I know nothing about it.
They're extremely valuable.
Okay.
Tens of thousands, if not millions of dollars.
I can guarantee you that's not going to happen, but I would like someone to take a look at it. Hell, right now, I'm just taking your word that it's for a baby. And
I'm only looking for $4,000. Cash, I'm on my way.
I have a buddy, he's the curator of the Clark County Museum. I'm going to have him take a look at it, and I'll get a better idea of what it is and what it's worth. Okay?
That'd be great.
All right, thanks.
Thanks.
This thing's extremely unique, and sometimes that can mean extremely valuable. So I'm calling in my buddy Mark so he can tell us more about it and how it was used.
I'm the administrator of the Clark County Museum System. I am intensely curious about history, the real artifacts, what they are, how they were used, and what we can learn from them. Well, you've got an infant gas mask.
Okay, so it is an infant gas mask.
Yes, it is British. It is World War II. It's dated 39. By 1939, they had already made over 9 million civilian gas masks in Britain. They were trying to make gas masks for every man, woman, and child on the island. 1939, World War II started. All sides knew that they had gas. They had used it in World War I, and this was the great horror weapon that they were worried about having used again. There were treaties in place that said, no, we won't do this, but you didn't know for sure, so you had to plan for it. A place like Britain, you're on an island. It's not going to get off the island, and you can kill everybody there. So there was a great deal of fear that perhaps gas would be used. And what do you do with infants? World War II was a war that involved everyone in the world, not just the people on the battlefield. What we tend to forget was the home front was part of the war. If you were in Britain, you were part of the war. Because it's an infant, you'd have to pump air in there for the infant. They could hold everything while still pumping.
I mean, it's just scary and creepy to me, you know what I mean?
There are certain artifacts that are just appalling just because they have to exist.
Yeah.
You know, the fact that somebody had to sit down and say, okay, if they're going to drop gas on us, how are we going to keep infants alive? The idea of getting your infant into a gas mask like this, it would have been the most frightening thing to ever run into, but it was at least an option that you had just in case. It's one of those things, it's horrible that it had to exist. It's wonderful that it only exists as a brand new piece that was never used.
Okay. Thanks for coming in, Mark. Really
Not a problem. Thanks a lot, Rick. Heyman, good to meet you.
Thank you.
Chumley, good to see you.
See you next time.
So, what do you want for it?
4,000.
I mean, it's definitely different, I can tell you that.
Somebody might want it.
Someone's probably going to want it, but...
$3 grand?
You know, it's just, I just don't know how to display this in the store. You know what, man, I think I'm going to pass. It's just, you know, I mean, once I find out more about it, it just creeps me out more and more. But thanks for bringing it. I mean, at least I learned something.
Cool, thanks.
Thanks a lot, man.
See you.
Even though this thing has value, I just know when something is going to be difficult to sell. And if it's creeping me out, there's a good chance it's going to be creeping my customers out too. And I don't think there's anybody out there who wants to put a baby gas mask in their curio cabinet.